I remember watching a personal development video where the top personal development trainers, writers, and coaches were giving their top success tips. And when Stephen Covey came on, he said that always when you make a promise, keep it. When you say you're going to do something, do it. And I remember at the time thinking, okay, sure, but should it be something more important, like how to make $1 million quickly, or some advice that was a bit sexier? But the more I thought about it, and the more I thought about the times where I wasn't getting anywhere in my life or fulfilling my goals or dreams, it made so much sense, and I realized that that was the single most important success tip I've ever learned. The reason is that when you make a promise or commitment to yourself and then you don't keep it, you let yourself down hard. You lose your confidence, your self-esteem takes a dive, and the more you make a promise to yourself and you don't keep it, the more you sink into a hole. And it makes so much sense. When you make a promise to yourself and then you don't keep it, it affects the way you feel about yourself, your self-image, your confidence. You let yourself down every time you don't follow through. You can lie to yourself and say you're going to do it, but really you're sailing against the wind because deep down you know you're not going to fulfill it. It's so important to not betray yourself. You're going to lose self-respect for yourself. If you were following through on your promises, even one tiny promise, you would get a small dopamine release and you would have this small sense of success and being a winner, which propels you forward and creates motivation and persistence. Instead, if you make a promise and you don't keep it, deep down your subconscious mind isn't going to get working and motivated to take action, coming up with new ideas or solutions to the challenges in your life, because it knows that when you say you're going to do something, you don't do it. If every time you're speaking words and always fail to follow through on them, your unconscious mind basically says to itself, yeah, right. It says, hey, he said he's going to do this, but he's made promises in the past and hasn't fulfilled them. He won't do it. There's no way. If you are continually not following through on your word, then your unconscious mind does not take you seriously and will offer the same old way of following through on your word, doing absolutely nothing. It makes you much less professional in other people's eyes as well. When you make a promise or a commitment to someone and then you don't keep it, it makes you untrustworthy in their eyes and communicates that you don't value them. Make a list of your most important goals, dreams, and ambitions, then determine what steps you need to take to make those a reality. Make a promise to yourself to accomplish those goals, one at a time, and follow through. Keep your word and you will develop tremendous self-esteem and confidence. The more you follow through on your word, the more unstoppable you become. You say you're going to do something and then you make it happen. And every time you follow through, you realize that you can do anything and everything, and you feel very powerful. The fact is, keeping promises to yourself shows you respect and consider yourself as important as others. Remember that you are your word. Your ability to honor your commitments and promises directly impacts your credibility, reputation, trustworthiness, and overall peace of mind. When we say one thing and do another, when we start a project and don't finish it, when we start a diet and soon after quit, the only thing that we become successful at is sabotaging our own reputation with ourselves. How can we be expected to honor the commitments we make to others? The more successful you are with making and keeping promises to yourself, the more successful you will be in fulfilling promises to others. By making and keeping promises, we build the strength of character to move us in a balanced way and increase effectiveness in our own lives. People wonder how to build confidence. It's the simplest thing ever. You start making commitments to yourself and you keep them. You will start carrying yourself differently. You walk differently, knowing that you're a person who can keep their commitments to themselves. It gives you a sense of inner strength and confidence in your own abilities. You want to be able to count on yourself. That's what real confidence comes from. Keep your commitments. As we make and keep commitments, even the small commitments, we begin to establish an inner integrity that gives us the awareness of self-control and the courage and the strength to accept even more responsibility of our own lives.